video, we're going to review combining integers. So do me a favor, at the front of your notebook, add in a piece underneath Unit 10 that says combining integers. I wrote it in red here for you. And then go ahead and turn in your notebook until you run into a blank page and we'll get started with our lesson. So once you're on your blank page, you can get this part copied in. This is your notes for combining integers, also known as adding and subtracting integers. So terms are the numbers that represent the pieces of the problem, or they represent the numbers that are in the problem. So the first thing that we're going to start off with is identifying the terms from a problem. And we started doing this the other day with multiplying and dividing, but now we need to focus on it with adding and subtracting. So a good way to do that is I like to draw little boxes underneath. So the first term in this problem is a -2. And then the second term in this problem is a -4. So we're just identifying terms here. For number 2, my terms for this one are a 2 and a 6. And the 6 is a positive, and the 2 is also positive because it doesn't have a sign on it. If I look at number 3, the 3 is a +3, and I don't have to put a plus sign on it because I know it's already positive. And the 4, that minus sign actually goes with the 4 and says that the 4 is a negative. So we've really thrown you for a loop in elementary school because subtraction is actually the sign in front of a number for making it a negative. So when you see a subtraction sign in front of a number, that's actually telling you that the number itself is negative. So I could have rewritten this problem as 3 plus -4, and it would have meant the same thing as this first one because the negative or the subtraction sign is actually with the 4. So we're kind of throwing you for a little bit of a loop today. Go ahead and try number 4 on your own. See if you can figure out what are the 2 terms for number 4. So number 4, we have -5, and we also have a -7 because this -5 term and then the minus sign that goes with the 7, minus and negative mean the exact same thing. So we have a -5 and a -7. Now number 5 and number 6 are a little bit tricky because negative, another word for negative is opposite. The opposite of a number, or -5, +5. So if we look at this first one, the first integer in this one is -1. But when I look at this whole term here, this means opposite of -9. Well, what is the opposite of -9? The opposite of -9 is actually a positive. So when you see minus, minus in a line, it actually comes together to make a plus. So this is a +9. So I have a -1 and a +9. Same thing for number 6. I have a +4, but then I have this double negative here, minus -8. I don't not like ice cream. When you say I don't not like ice cream, that actually means that I do like ice cream. So you can think of those double negatives from English class. So if I have minus negative or the opposite of -8, the opposite of negative would be positive. So this becomes a plus sign in here. So it actually becomes 4 plus 8. So now that we've been able to identify the terms, let's actually talk about modeling with pictures. So we can combine integers by using pictures. Now in order to do this, we're going to have to understand something called zero pairs. Zero pairs are when one positive and one negative come together to make 0. So if you have $1 and you owe $1, you kind of even out that you have no dollars left. So it's the same thing. So let's look at some examples and then I'll let you try some on your own. We're going to first look at the terms. The terms in the first one, I have a -3 and then a +4. So we're going to document those terms below. I have 3 negatives, so I'm going to write them in. 1, 2, 3. And I have 4 positives. They're going to have to go on the P side for positive. And I'm going to draw 4 positives. Now, it's in a zero pair, it says when one positive and one negative come together to make 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to circle them because they combine to cancel. So I'm canceling 1, 2, 3. And if you want to cross them out, you're welcome to. and I'm left with one little lonely positive left over. So my answer would be +1 for this problem. So I had 3 negatives and 4 positives. I combined 3 of them together, and I was left with 1 positive from the 4. All right, let's look at another one. So we first have to look at the terms. I have a -3, so I'm going to document that 1, 2, 3. And then I also have a plus -4, so I have to deal with this -4, and I'm going to draw 4 more negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I don't have any positives in this problem, so therefore I don't have any zero pairing to do. I don't have any matching up of opposites that cancel each other. Because you can think of zero pairs as canceling. So if I just count them up then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this would equal a -7 because all of these are negative. And then the last one, I have this -1. So I'm going to document a -1 on the negative side. But then here's where things get tricky. I have a -9. Minus negative. Opposite of -9. What is the opposite of -9? The opposite of -9 is +9. Remember, you can draw in that little plus sign there. So this actually is written as -1 plus 9, if you want to get fancy with it. So those +9 have to go on the positive side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So now I can cancel one of them and get rid of 1 because I have one set of opposites. Now I have to count up and see what is left. I am left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my answer for this one should be 8 positives. I have 8 positives left, nothing canceled. So do me a favor, I want you to try the next 3 on your own. Draw them in the P&N chart. Circle the ones that would be canceled. See what the answer should be. And when you're ready, unpause the video. So in the first one, I have a -3, so I'm going to document my 3 negatives here. And then I have a +9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have to circle 1, 2, 3. And whenever I look at this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positives left over. So my answer for this one is +6. For number 2, I have a -1, so I'm going to document that negative, and a -6, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more negatives. And I don't have any positives here, so there's no canceling. So I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there are 7 negatives. So the answer for that one is -7. Now number 3 is the trickiest one on the whole page. Remember, I have that +4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I have this -8, or opposite of -8. What is the opposite of -8? Well, it's a big +8. So this is really 4 plus 8, if you need to write it that way. So that means the 8 is positive, so I need to put 8 more positives on the positive side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's no negatives to cancel out. So now I just have to add them all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So my answer for this one should have been 12. All right, so now that we've learned how to model with pictures, let's learn to model using a number line. So when we model using a number line, if you add a positive, you're going to move right because that's where all the positive numbers are. When you add a negative, you're going to move left because it's like subtraction. Negative and subtraction mean the same thing. So take a minute, write all this in, and then we're going to make our number line together. All right, so I drew my number line and I started at 0, and no one is keeping you from writing a number line, and I highly recommend that you draw one every day when you come into class. That way you can use it for help. So we are going to start at 0, and I'm going to number my number line. I'm going to go up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to number it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now I have to do the negatives. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to number it. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, and negative 10. Okay, so here's how you can use a number line to help you, and I really like the number line. It makes it a little bit easier sometimes for you to see what's going on with those numbers. So just like we did with the modeling with the pluses and the minuses, you can do the number line, whatever makes you happy. So I have to start with number 1 at negative 5, because negative 5 is my first term. So I'm going to start right here. And then it says add negative 3. Well, I can't add forward with a negative number. So it actually, if I'm going to add a negative, I have to go backwards because it's the negative number. So I'm going to go backwards 3. 1, 2, 3. So when I do this, I have 5 negatives and 3 more negatives. So I end up with 8 negatives as my answer there. So that's the first one. And you can also draw it with the pluses and the minuses if that makes more sense. So it would be 5 negatives plus 3 more negatives equals 8 negatives. Now number 2 is another one of those tricky ones. I have 4, so that's where I'm starting. And then I have minus negative 3. Remember, those minus negatives are the opposite of negative. So this is really a plus. 4 plus 3, if you want to rewrite it like that. So if I go plus 3, I have to move forward. 1, 2, 3. So I end at 7 for that one, because 4 plus 3 is 7. All right, number 3. For number 3, I have 8 that I'm starting at. And I need to add negative 2. So I can't go forward a negative. I'm actually going to have to end up going backwards. 1, 2. So it's actually like subtraction for this one, and I end at positive 6. I have 8 positives, 2 negatives. I would have to cancel 2 of them, and I'm left with 6. All right, for number 4. Number 4, you're starting at 4 because the first term is 4. And then I have this minus negative 6. Minus negative, or opposite of negative, is positive. So this is really 4 plus 6. Well, I know how to do that. That's what I've been doing since elementary school. 4 and then I add 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I end at 10. So for this one, the answer is positive 10. So go ahead, I want you to try 5 and 6 on your own. For number 5, start at 10 and subtract 13. And then for number 6, start at negative 2 and then subtract 7 more. See if you can do those 2 on your own. So for number 5, my first term is 10, so I'm going to start at 10. And then it says subtract 13 or negative 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I end at this negative 3. I had 10, I take away 13, I end at negative 3. All right, that was simple enough. That was just like almost regular subtraction that we've been doing since elementary school. All right, and then the last one that we need to do is this negative 2 minus 7. So I'm going to start at negative 2, and it says minus 7 or negative 7. So I'm going to go negative 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I land at negative 9. So those are your answers for our number line. Remember, you can also use the PNN chart modeling if that's what you're more comfortable with. These are just 2 different methods that you should at least be able to read, and then one of them be good at applying it. If you have any questions, make sure that you let your teacher know. Have a wonderful day.